The myth of Demeter, goddess of agriculture. Hello, and welcome back to our channel, where the myths of ancient gods and goddesses are unraveled. Today, we're going to discuss Demeter, the goddess of agriculture and one of the most powerful gods in Greek mythology. If you like mythology and love epic tales, please like this video, subscribe, and ring that bell so you don't miss any future episodes. Now, let's dive into it. Demeter was the goddess of harvest, basically the nurturer of Earth's life, and she took care of grains and land fertility. But probably the most famous story of her is one of love, loss, and renewal, which, as a matter of fact, describes really why we have the changing seasons. It all started with Persephone, the daughter of Demeter. Persephone was a bright, gay young goddess who loved to stray along the fields, picking flowers. But one day, the god of the underworld saw her, fell in love, and abducted her to be his queen in the dark realms below. Demeter, grief-stricken, began to search the earth for her daughter, but Persephone was nowhere to be found. The sorrow of Demeter turned into a cataclysm. Plants stopped growing, the earth became barren, and life itself was in jeopardy. Then, upon seeing such a devastation, Zeus, the king of the gods, interfered. He sent Hermes down to Hades, the messenger of the gods, in order to take Persephone back. Hades knew he needed to let her go, and gave Persephone a parting gift, a pomegranate. She ate several pomegranate seeds, and thereby bound herself to the underworld for part of every year. A compromise was reached. Persephone would spend part of every year with her mother, bringing joy and fertility to earth, and part of each year she would spend with Hades in the underworld. This is one of the famous explanations for the existence of seasons. When Persephone is with Demeter, the land blooms. When she is in the underworld, Demeter's sorrow gives way to winter. Her round-trip journey of loss and reunion was a metaphor for the annual cycle of seasonal change, with her half-year sojourn in the underworld representing winter's barrenness, and her return signifying spring's new life. Demeter's story was not some benign myth. Rather, it was the basis for the Eleusinian mysteries, ancient rituals promising initiates knowledge of life, death, and rebirth, symbolized by Persephone's descent into the underworld and her return to the surface. Demeter facts. Demeter was the daughter of Cronos and Rhea, and thusly one of the most powerful goddesses on Olympus. She took grave care in the earth's fertility and would grant riches or doom upon the land based on her whim. Her only child was a daughter, Persephone, by Zeus. Demeter's sorrow from the vanishing of her daughter is seen in the bleak, cold months of winter. Demeter instructed humans how to tend to and utilize grain, thus changing civilization entirely. The most important festival of Demeter, the Thesmophoria, was an exclusively female fertility rite. Her symbols are the wheats, poppies, and cornucopia, which denote abundance and nourishment. In ancient Greek art, she is usually depicted as either wearing a wreath of grains or carrying a torch, symbolic of her constant search for her daughter. The Eleusinian Mysteries. Demeter and Persephone were also the leading figures of the Eleusinian Mysteries, a peculiarly secret yet vastly influential religious ceremony in ancient Greece. These were rituals performed once every 5 years, usually dramatized by the abduction of Persephone, her life in the underworld, and her final return. Such mysteries promised life after death, symbolizing rebirth through the story of Demeter's joy upon the return of Persephone. Demeter's symbols and powers. She was not just the goddess of crops, but she was in a position to change the balance between life and death. Thus, Demeter's power could work as a curse bringing famine upon the land, or it could work as a blessing bringing fertility. She was considered a goddess of sacred law and seasons. Her symbols, the winged snake, wheat, and poppies, just meant her domain over life and growth. Some of the animals sacred to her were lions, snakes, and even domesticated ones like cats and dogs. Given that she also had quite a number of lovers, this would have made being a mother her very defining characteristic. How well she guarded Persephone speaks volumes about her deep connection with motherhood and life's seasons. The story of Demeter and Persephone is one of love, loss, and eternal renewal. It tells us that no matter how bleak things seem, spring is always just around the corner. What do you think of this fierce devotion that Demeter had for her daughter? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video about Demeter and her powerful story, then like, comment, and subscribe. We have plenty more myths and legends to run through, so stay tuned for the next episode.